News Corporation drops its bid for B-Sky-B amid the hacking scandal. I'm Andrew Ross Sorkin of the New York Times' DealBook, here with Bruce Headlam, the media editor. And big news today. Are you surprised?
I think the rule with Murdoch is always be shocked, never be surprised. He's an incredibly strategic thinker. If he feels that by pulling back the bid on B-Sky-B today means longer, better health for the company, he will do it. It doesn't mean he's not going to eventually get it. They've reserved their right to still go after B-Sky-B, but the political climate in England is so toxic right now that he needed to take just a little bit of pressure off the table, and I think he's successfully done that.
Is this about B-Sky-B, or is this a larger issue? I mean, when you think about News Corporation writ large, this was obviously one of the big sort of strategic issues hanging out there. But does this end the conversation, or is this just the beginning?
I don't think it ends the conversation. They can come back to the bid at any time. They've got, even with the stock buyback this week, which they announced.
But does it put less political pressure on them today? Any less political pressure than they had on them yesterday?
I think it takes the pressure off this much, because in Parliament, all the leaders were standing up and saying this is not a time for corporate moves, this is a time to clean house, to come clean about the whole scandal. He's taken this off the table for now. So yes, the hacking scandal is still growing. There's still, News Corp is being devoured by the other tabloids, which is a nice bit of, turnaround is fair play, I guess. But yes, I think it lessens the pressure just a little bit.
Now, this deal was always said to be a James Murdoch deal.
Right.
And so I'm curious how James Murdoch, the man, will ultimately fare. He's also someone who obviously was in the midst of this hacking scandal. So what does this say about the relationship inside the Murdoch family and empire?
Well, it was James's idea to shut down News of the World, which was very dramatic, and a lot of people think Rupert wouldn't have done that. News of the World was the first paper he bought outside Australia. Newspapers are his first love. He still spends 80% of his time dealing with newspapers, to the point that he rewrites headlines. James is a strategic thinker like his father. He ran B-Sky-B. He very much wanted this deal. In the long run, this may still be the best way to complete the deal.
So you think that 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, they can still come back at this?
I think they can come back. Don't forget, when Murdoch wanted a waiver for his television stations in New York, he waited, 10, 15 years? He's always been a guy with very, very long horizons. And even though he's 80 years old, that hasn't changed.
Okay, so I just want to push the story a little bit farther out. Newspapers. What ultimately happens to the newspaper business amid this scandal? Can they spin it off? Do they sell it? Is there somebody who wants to buy it? Where does this go?
There will always be somebody who wants to buy London newspapers. There's always some colonial type, usually from Canada, my home, who wants to own a London paper because they want to feel important. So of course they would be able to sell the newspapers, but they would be selling them at a big discount. In one way, you have to look at this as a way to preserve the status quo just for the time being. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to me that they would stall or postpone their bid for B-Sky-B and then turn around and get rid of the newspapers. But a lot is going to depend on what the government finds out in their inquiry, which the government announced today, and just how damaging some of that information might be.
Bruce Headlam, thank you for the conversation.
Thank you.
I'm Andrew Ross Sorkin of the New York Times' DealBook.